My beloved soul, before you continue listening to this message, take a deep breath and let your heart be still before God. Subscribe right now so you never miss any divine message that could change your life forever. Because sometimes, what you're about to hear is not just a message. It's an answer to the prayer you've been silently crying out for in the middle of the night. God has seen your tears, your confusion, and your questions about whether to stay or to walk away. And now, He's here to speak to your heart. There are moments when love feels like a battlefield, when your spirit feels torn between holding on and letting go. You keep asking, God, is this my person? Is this the one you sent for me? Or have I stayed too long in a season that has already ended? God wants to talk to you about this, because He knows how much you've tried, how much you've hoped, and how hard it is to let go of someone you once believed was your forever. Sometimes, God will allow a connection to feel heavy, not because He wants you to suffer, but because He wants you to open your eyes to the truth that love should not destroy your peace. Love that comes from Him will not constantly drain your soul. Love that carries His blessing will not leave you questioning your worth. And love that is meant to stay will not keep breaking you into smaller pieces every time you try to heal. You have been holding on because you saw potential, not because you saw peace. You believed in their promise more than you believed in the fruit of their actions. God says you cannot keep watering what refuses to grow. You cannot keep fixing what was never built with Him as the foundation. And you cannot heal someone who keeps choosing their wounds over your love. God says, when a relationship starts to silence your voice, when you no longer recognize yourself when you're around them, when you feel smaller instead of seen, that is not divine love. That is your spirit telling you something is wrong. That's your heart whispering, you are not safe here. God never calls you to love someone at the cost of losing yourself. You see, sometimes it's not that the person is bad. Sometimes they were a lesson, not a lifetime. They were a mirror sent to reveal what you still needed to heal, not a soulmate meant to stay forever. And that's why the more you try to hold on, the more God begins to close doors. The more you try to fix it, the more He removes His peace. Because God's peace is your confirmation, and when it's gone, that's your sign He's trying to get your attention. You've been wondering why it hurts more now than ever. It's because God is separating what you once called love from what is truly meant for your purpose. The more you try to stay in something He's already released you from, the more restless your spirit will feel. He is not punishing you. He is protecting you. He's pulling you away from what looks like love but hides pain behind pretty words. God says, you have stayed long enough at this mountain. You have tried long enough to make it work with someone who only loves the parts of you that benefit them. You have explained your worth long enough to someone who never intended to understand it. Now is the time to choose peace over presence, healing over history, and your purpose over your pain. There is a difference between endurance and bondage. Love that endures grows in grace. But love that binds you makes you feel like you're constantly proving your value. God didn't create you to beg for attention, to chase validation, or to shrink yourself just to be tolerated. He created you to be loved in truth, to be valued without conditions, and to be seen as His masterpiece. If you have to dim your light to keep someone, that is your sign you're standing in a place not meant for your soul anymore. When God wants to reveal whether you should walk away, He starts by showing you patterns. It's never just one argument, one moment, or one mistake. It's the consistent lack of peace. It's the unspoken tension that lingers even when you try to smile. It's the way you feel drained after every conversation instead of restored. God reveals truth through repetition. If you keep going in circles, that's not progress, it's delay. And delay is not from God. You've been asking Him for clarity, but He already showed you in silence. You've been praying for a sign, but He already spoke through your discomfort. The same God who speaks in miracles also speaks in red flags. When you feel anxious every time their name appears on your phone, when your laughter turns to tears after every argument, when your spirit feels heavy after being around them. That's not confusion, it's conviction. It's God's gentle warning that you're forcing something He's been trying to release. Some people are good at making you believe that chaos is passion. They confuse inconsistency with mystery. But real love, divine love, is not a guessing game. You don't have to wonder if they care. You don't have to chase proof that you matter. Love that comes from God is steady. It is calm, it is sure. It gives rest to your soul, not restlessness. God says, if you find yourself constantly trying to explain how you deserve to be treated, it's time to step back and see that you've already lost the connection that matters most. Your connection with peace. Peace is how you know if something is from Him. Confusion is how you know it's not. And no amount of romantic hope can change that truth. Sometimes God lets a person's true colors show not to hurt you, but to free you. You prayed for discernment, and He gave it to you through disappointment. He showed you who they are so you could stop imagining who they could be. Because He knows if He didn't let you see the truth, you would never leave. You would keep waiting for them to become what they never intended to be. There is a holy loneliness that comes after obedience. When you walk away from what's familiar, even when you know it's right, your heart still aches. But that ache is not emptiness. It's the space God clears to fill you with something new. Do not confuse separation with rejection. When God removes someone, it's because He's about to restore you. When He says walk away, it's because He's already prepared a better chapter that requires your healing, not your heartbreak. You will never lose what is truly meant for you. You may lose your comfort, but you'll never lose your calling. You may lose who you thought you needed, but you'll find who God knows you deserve. The pain you feel today is not the end. It's the beginning of you rediscovering your worth through God's eyes. God says, I'm not punishing you for loving deeply. I'm protecting you from being loved poorly. You gave all of yourself to someone who only gave half of themselves to you, and now you're left wondering if you're hard to love. But no, you are not hard to love. You were just loving someone who was too broken to love right. And God is saying, don't let that make you close your heart. Don't let that make you bitter. Just let it make you wiser. When you walk away in obedience, heaven celebrates your courage. Because choosing yourself through God's wisdom is not selfish. It's sacred. It means you're finally listening to the quiet voice that's been whispering, you deserve peace too. You've sacrificed enough trying to fix what was never yours to heal. Now it's time to let God do the healing in you. Not through them. He's saying, daughter, son, stop fighting for someone I've already released you from. Because while you're trying to hold on to what's familiar, your destiny is waiting on the other side of obedience. The wrong person will keep you in confusion, but the right one will draw you closer to me. And that's how you'll know. That's how you'll know when it's time to walk away. Not when your feelings fade, but when my peace leaves the room. The peace of God is the ultimate confirmation. If you have to keep asking for signs, it's because deep down you already know the truth. God is not the author of confusion. He will not call you to stay in something that keeps killing your spirit. He will not tell you to keep waiting for someone who keeps choosing the world over your heart. When His peace is gone, that's not punishment. It's protection. So tonight, as you listen to this message, release what you've been afraid to lose. Let God handle what your heart can't fix. You will not miss what was never meant for you. You will only grow into what was always waiting for you. This is not your ending. This is your awakening. The pain is real, but so is the promise. And if you just trust God, you'll see that walking away was not your loss. It was your liberation. Subscribe now to stay connected to messages that speak life into your spirit. Because this is only the beginning of your restoration story, and God is not done with you yet. My beloved soul, the reason God is speaking to you right now is because He knows how hard it is to walk away from someone you love. He knows the battle between your heart and your spirit. He knows the tears you cry behind closed doors, and the prayers you whisper when no one is listening. You don't want to give up, but you also don't want to keep breaking. And God is saying, it's okay to choose peace even when your heart still loves them. You see, sometimes love doesn't end because the feelings fade. It ends because God steps in to protect your future. When you love someone deeply, you begin to believe that love alone is enough to keep things together. But God says love without alignment will always lead to exhaustion. You can't build something lasting when you're the only one fighting for it. You can't create balance when only one heart is willing to heal. You were not created to live in constant cycles of apology and disappointment. You were not created to settle for temporary affection that disappears the moment you speak your truth. God says the right person will not make you beg to be heard. The right person will not make you fear losing them every time you set a boundary. The right person will protect your heart, not play with it. There are people who will love you based on how much you can endure. They will test your limits just to see how much you'll tolerate. But that is not love, it's manipulation wrapped in affection. God says He's been revealing their patterns, not to break your heart, but to awaken your discernment. Every time they made you question your sanity, every time they twisted your words, every time you felt unseen even when you were giving your all, that was God showing you the truth through their actions. You tried to be patient. You prayed for them. You believed they would change. You forgave again and again because your heart is full of grace. But even grace has limits when it becomes self-destruction. God did not call you to carry someone who refuses to walk beside you. He did not call you to lose yourself trying to save someone who has already chosen their own comfort over your connection. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is let go. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in peace. Because when God says it's time to walk away, He's not ending your story. He's redirecting it. He's freeing your heart from what cannot go with you into your next chapter. And even though it hurts now, one day you will thank Him for the doors He closed and the people He removed. God says, stop calling it rejection when I'm calling it redirection. Stop calling it failure when it's actually freedom. You've been crying over something that was never meant to be permanent. You've been trying to repair something that was only meant to teach you. And now it's time to let go with grace, because your healing will not come from holding on. It will come from obedience. If you find yourself in a place where your peace feels like a memory, where your laughter feels forced, and where love feels like walking on glass, that's not where God wants you to stay. He's not asking you to fight for something that's killing your spirit. He's asking you to trust that there's life beyond this pain. Because what you're losing right now is nothing compared to what He's preparing next. God says, I've seen the nights you cried after pretending you were fine. I've seen you hide your pain just to keep the peace. I've seen how hard you tried to hold it together when they gave you reasons to fall apart. You thought your silence was strength, but God says your strength is in surrender. Your healing begins when you stop pretending everything is okay and admit that your heart is tired. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you. You can't grow in the same soil that keeps poisoning your roots. And you can't move forward if you keep walking backward to prove your loyalty to someone who doesn't see your value. God says, it's time to stop trying to convince people to stay who were never meant to go where I'm taking you. He knows that walking away feels like betrayal. He knows that part of you fears being alone. But you're not losing love, you're finding yourself. You're stepping out of confusion and into clarity. You're stepping out of pain and into purpose. And even though it feels lonely now, heaven is standing beside you, reminding you that this separation is sacred. Sometimes God removes someone not because they are evil, but because they are incomplete for your assignment. They may have been right for your past, but they are not equipped for your future. And that's why everything started to fall apart. Not because you failed, but because your purpose grew too big for that relationship to contain. God won't let you settle in smallness when He has called you for greatness. You kept asking why they changed. But they didn't change, they revealed. You prayed for truth and God answered. He showed you who they are when they could no longer hide behind your love. He exposed the distance between words and actions so you could finally stop dreaming of what could be and start walking toward what will be. God says, "Do not chase what I've already replaced." When you hold on to what I've released, you delay your own blessing. You cannot receive new love with hands full of old pain. You cannot step into the next chapter if you keep rereading the last one. It's time to close the door, not because you hate them, but because you love yourself enough to obey me. You are not abandoning them. You are aligning with God. You are not walking away in bitterness. You are walking away in wisdom. And wisdom will always require separation before elevation. The pain you feel right now is temporary, but the peace that will follow will last a lifetime. One day you'll wake up and realize that letting go didn't destroy you. It saved you. You'll look back and see how God's hand was guiding you all along, even through the heartbreak. You'll thank Him for unanswered prayers, because now you'll understand that rejection was His protection. Every tear you cried was watering the soil for a new beginning. God says, "I am not done writing your story. I am not done healing your heart. I am not done showing you what real love feels like." The next time love finds you, it will not break you to teach you. It will build you to bless you. But before that happens, you must learn to walk away when peace leaves the room. Because peace is not a feeling. It's a sign that heaven is near. When you walk away in obedience, you walk into alignment. The weight you've been carrying will lift. The confusion will fade. And for the first time in a long time, your heart will breathe again. God will fill the spaces that person left with His presence. He will restore your laughter, renew your strength, and remind you that your story is far from over. So wipe your tears, child of God. This ending is not punishment. It's preparation. It's making room for the kind of love that mirrors His grace, not your pain. It's preparing your heart for the one who will meet you with peace, not promises. And when that day comes, you'll understand why you had to let go. Because walking away was never about losing them. It was about finding you. It was about coming home to yourself and realizing that God was never asking you to stop loving them. He was asking you to start loving you through His eyes. And that, beloved, is the purest form of healing. My beloved soul, the truth is, walking away is not easy. It's one of the hardest things God ever asks us to do. Because love makes you hold on even when your spirit says it's time to let go. You see the good in them, the potential, the memories, and you tell yourself maybe one more chance will fix it. But God says, "Stop trying to rebuild what I already removed my hand from." You cannot build something lasting on a foundation that has already cracked beneath your pain. God knows how loyal your heart is. He knows you meant every word when you said you'd love them through everything. But love is not meant to be a place of endless suffering. Love is not meant to make you question your worth daily. You were not created to beg for love, to chase attention, or to tolerate neglect in the name of loyalty. True love does not make you lose yourself. Brings you closer to who God created you to be. When God tells you to walk away, it's not because He wants to see you in pain. It's because He's rescuing you from a future that would destroy you slowly. You think you're losing love, but you're actually being saved from heartbreak that would have broken your spirit beyond repair. God says you may not see it now, but one day you'll thank me for this interruption. You'll thank me for not letting it go the way you planned. There are seasons when God allows a relationship to fall apart, not because it failed, but because it fulfilled its purpose. Some people are not meant to stay, they're meant to teach. They come to awaken something in you, to mirror what needs healing. And then they leave when that chapter is done. And as painful as it feels, you must not chase what God has already called complete. You prayed for peace, yet you keep fighting for pain. You asked God for strength, yet you keep returning to weakness. You asked for clarity, yet you keep ignoring the confusion. God is saying, "My child, I've already shown you the truth. You're just afraid to accept it. You cannot heal while you're still holding hands with the thing that keeps wounding you. You cannot move forward while your heart is still stuck in the place that broke you. Sometimes the hardest obedience is walking away without closure. You won't get all the answers you want. You won't always hear them say sorry. You won't always understand why they did what they did. But God doesn't need you to understand everything. He needs you to trust Him through it. He needs you to believe that what He removes, He replaces with something better, something safer, something divine. There are people you thought were your forever, but God saw what you couldn't see. He saw the conversations behind your back, the intentions hidden behind their smiles, the way they prayed with you but never planned to grow with you. And because He loves you, He had to separate you. Sometimes His protection comes disguised as pain. Sometimes His mercy feels like heartbreak. You thought you lost your other half, but you didn't. You lost the version of you that settled. You lost the version of you that thought love had to hurt to be real. You lost the version of you that mistook attention for affection and chemistry for connection. That is not a loss, that is liberation. You are being reborn through pain. You are learning that love should not be a battlefield where you constantly fight for validation. Love should be a home where your heart can rest. God says, stop waiting for them to change. Stop waiting for their words to become actions. They heard you the first time. They saw your pain the first time. They just didn't care enough to choose differently. And that's not your fault. You can't make someone love you right if their heart was never built for the kind of love you give. You are not asking for too much. You are just asking the wrong person. When the wrong person leaves, the right lessons stay. You begin to realize that your heart is sacred, and not everyone deserves access to it. You learn that loyalty means nothing without honesty. You learn that love without respect is just control disguised as care. You learn that silence is not peace when it's filled with suppression. And you learn that walking away doesn't mean you stopped loving. It means you started listening to God. The enemy wants you to believe that being alone means you failed. But solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. God isolates you to heal what others broke. He hides you to restore what you lost. He separates you so He can strengthen you. Because before He brings you the one who will love you right, He must make sure you love yourself through Him. He cannot allow you to repeat the same cycle again. So He teaches you to walk away with wisdom, not wounds. When you finally surrender, when you stop fighting for what keeps hurting you, you'll feel a peace you haven't felt in years. It won't come all at once, but little by little the ache will fade. The sleepless nights will lessen, the tears will dry, and one morning, you'll wake up, look in the mirror and realize you survived what was meant to break you. You'll realize you're stronger than you ever knew. You'll realize that what you thought was the end was actually the beginning of a new version of you. God says, I never left you. Even when you were crying over them, I was holding you. Even when you doubted me, I was preparing you. Even when you didn't understand, I was aligning things for your good. You may have lost the person, but you didn't lose my presence. You may have walked away from them, but you're walking toward me. And that's the most powerful direction you can ever move in. Do not let loneliness make you go back to what you prayed to be freed from. The same pain that made you leave will still be waiting for you if you return. The same cycle will repeat, and this time it will hurt more. When God says it's over, He means it. Don't try to resurrect what He buried. Don't try to relight a fire He already extinguished. Let the ashes be ashes. Let the ending be holy. Your healing will not happen by trying to prove your worth to someone who couldn't see it. Your healing will come when you finally see yourself the way God does. You are not forgotten. You are not unworthy, and you are not unlovable. You are chosen. You are precious. You are becoming the healed version of yourself that no heartbreak can destroy. And once you reach that place, you'll realize that walking away was the first act of self-love that aligned you with divine purpose. God says, "You deserve someone who prays with you, not preys on you. Someone who covers your heart, not exposes it. Someone who gives peace, not pressure. Someone who mirrors my love, not manipulates it." That kind of person exists. But before they arrive, you must close the door to who never valued your presence. Walking away is not running away. It's not giving up. It's growth. It's saying, "I choose peace even if it means being alone for a while." Because it's better to heal alone than to break together. It's better to be single in purpose than connected in pain. The moment you obey God, everything starts to align again. The air feels lighter, the tears feel cleansing, and your spirit feels free. God will use your pain as a platform. The same story that once embarrassed you will become your testimony. The same heartbreak that once silenced you will give you a voice to help others heal. The same goodbye that broke you will lead you to blessings that make sense of everything you lost. God wastes nothing. Not your tears, not your time, not your love. He says, "Be still and let me fight for you." Stop trying to make them see what they were never meant to see. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Stop defending your worth to hearts too blind to recognize it. Your value doesn't decrease because someone failed to see it. It remains divine because it was defined by God, not by people. You will love again. You will trust again. You will smile again. And when you do, it will be different this time. It won't come with fear. It won't come with confusion. It will come with clarity, peace, and gratitude. You'll realize that what you thought was love before was just preparation for the real thing. And when it arrives, you'll finally understand why God had to make you walk away from what you thought you couldn't live without. So don't look back, child of God. Keep walking. Keep healing. Keep believing. Because your obedience is building the bridge to your next blessing. You didn't lose, you learned. You didn't fail, you grew. You didn't walk away empty, you walked away wiser. God is proud of you for choosing peace over pain, faith over fear, and growth over guilt. You may not understand everything now, but one day you'll look back and whisper, "Thank you, God, for making me walk away." Because everything you let go of was only clearing space for what was always meant for you. My beloved soul, by now you know that walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is obedience wrapped in courage. It is saying, "God, I trust you more than my feelings." Because love, no matter how strong, should never replace peace. And God says peace is your proof of alignment. When His peace leaves, it's a sign that His presence is guiding you somewhere new. You have spent months, maybe even years, praying for that person to change, waiting for them to see your worth, hoping that if you love harder, they will love better. But God says, you were never meant to beg for what should have been freely given. The love that comes from me does not make you anxious. It does not confuse your soul. It does not leave you wondering if you are enough. It reminds you that you are chosen, valued, and safe. There are times when love becomes a lesson and not a lifetime. You will feel like you're leaving a part of yourself behind, but you're not. You're returning to the version of you that existed before the pain. You're returning to the peace you once had before you started fighting battles you were never meant to fight. You're returning to the freedom that comes when you finally say, "God, I'm done trying to fix what only you can heal." God says, "You've carried this long enough." The tears, the confusion, the trying, the forgiving, they were not in vain. They taught you how to love deeply, how to pray sincerely, how to see people's pain even when they couldn't see yours. But now it's time to rest. It's time to stop fighting for someone who stopped showing up. It's time to stop making excuses for someone who refuses to grow. You can't be the only one building the bridge while they keep burning it behind you. When God says walk away, it's not because He's mad at you. It's because He's madly in love with you. He's jealous for your heart. He can't stand to see his child begging for scraps when he prepared a feast. He can't stand to see you break over and over when he already promised you wholeness. You are his masterpiece, not a backup plan. You are his treasure, not an option. And any relationship that makes you forget that truth is not from him. He says, "You prayed for me to bless your love life. But before I bless it, I must first cleanse it. You can't build a godly future on a foundation of constant pain. You can't move into divine partnership while holding on to someone who feeds your insecurities. You can't meet your destiny while clinging to your distraction. Walking away is not rejection. It's redirection toward the one I've prepared for you. One day you will realize that you were never meant to prove your worth. You were meant to be pursued with intention. You were never meant to be tolerated. You were meant to be treasured. You were never meant to be silenced. You were meant to be celebrated." God says, "The right one will not make you question if you are enough. They will remind you that you are more than enough because you carry my light. Your heart has been heavy because you keep remembering the good times and ignoring the truth. You keep replaying memories and forgetting the patterns. But God says the past is not a prophecy. Just because it was good once doesn't mean it's right now. Stop trying to revive what I've already called dead. Stop trying to rebuild a chapter I've already ended. I'm not taking them away to hurt you. I'm taking them away to heal you. Every time you walk away from something not meant for you, heaven rejoices. Every time you choose peace over pressure, the angels clap. Because obedience in pain is one of the highest forms of worship. You are not walking away because you've stopped loving. You are walking away because you've started understanding what love truly is. Love is not endless suffering. Love is not manipulation. Love is not inconsistency disguised as passion. Love is gentle. Love is truthful. Love is kind. Love brings you closer to God, not further away. There are days when you'll miss them, and that's okay. Missing them doesn't mean you made a mistake. It means you're human. It means you cared. But don't confuse missing them with needing them. What you need now is healing. What you need now is clarity. What you need now is peace. And all of that begins with distance. God says, "I know it's lonely sometimes, but loneliness is where I meet you most deeply. Loneliness is where I remind you that my presence fills every empty space. Loneliness is where I show you that what left you did not take me with it. You have not been abandoned. You've been anointed through this pain. Every tear is birthing strength. Every heartbreak is birthing wisdom. Every goodbye is birthing new beginnings. Do not rush the healing. Don't run from the silence. The silence is sacred. It's where God restores what noise once drowned out. It's where He whispers new directions for your life. It's where He gives you vision for what's next. Because walking away isn't the end. It's the clearing before the promise. God says, "I am proud of you. You obeyed when it was hard. You trusted me even when you didn't see the outcome. You chose faith over fear, and that's why blessings are about to find you. What's coming next will not make you question your worth. It will confirm it. It will not confuse your spirit. It will comfort it. It will not require you to beg. It will allow you to rest. Because real love from God feels like home, not a battlefield. When the right person comes, you won't have to overthink. You won't have to wonder if they love you. You won't have to explain why peace feels foreign. They will meet you with gentleness. They will speak your love language without effort. They will remind you that love doesn't have to hurt to be holy. And when you look at them, you will thank God for every tear you cried before they arrived. Because you'll realize that the pain was necessary to prepare your heart to recognize real love. So, let go of the guilt. Let go of the fear. Let go of the idea that walking away means failure. Walking away means freedom. It means you're finally choosing God's plan over your own. It means you're finally ready to receive what He's been holding for you all along. And if you ever doubt your decision, remember this. God will never remove something from your life unless He plans to replace it with something better. He never ends a story without preparing a greater one. Every closed door is a setup for divine alignment. Every heartbreak is a seed for healing. Every ending is the beginning of something sacred. So, lift your head, dry your tears, straighten your crown. You are walking into a season where love will feel different, because it will be built on truth. You are stepping into a season where you will no longer beg to be understood. You will simply be seen. You are entering a chapter where your peace will be your priority, and your worth will be your foundation. God says, I am restoring you. I am rebuilding you. I am renewing you. And the next time love finds you, it will not break you, it will bless you. It will not take from you, it will pour into you. It will not silence you, it will celebrate you. And when that day comes, you'll look back and whisper, now I understand. That's why you made me walk away, my beloved soul. You are not walking away from love, you are walking into divine timing. You are not losing a person, you are gaining purpose. You are not ending your story. You are beginning the chapter where peace finally stays. Subscribe now so you can continue receiving messages that remind you who you are in God's eyes. Because this is not the end, it's the transformation. God is still writing your story, and soon your healing will become someone else's hope.